we're going to talk about what is, without a doubt, the deadliest virus on the planet. I mean, think about this. It's a virus where the moment you feel the first symptom, your fate is already sealed. It's over. So let's get into how this thing works and what makes it so unbelievably terrifying.
And believe it or not, this whole story kind of kicks off with what you could only call a medical miracle. It's about a 15-year-old girl, Gianna Gies. She was bitten by a bat. And by the time anyone figured out it was rabies, she should have been gone. I mean, she had symptoms, but she wasn't. She lived. She's one of like a tiny handful of people in all of human history to survive this. Which brings us to the big question, right? How in the world do you survive something that's supposed to be unsurvivable? Well, to figure out how she lived, we first have to get a handle on why, well, pretty much everyone else dies. It's like a deep dive into one of nature's most perfect and most horrifying killing machines. All right, so let's start at square one, the moment of infection. This is where a deadly clock starts ticking. But the scariest part? You have absolutely no idea it's even running.
Just picture this for a second. Let's say it happens to you. Maybe a stray dog nips you, or a bat scratches you while you're asleep. It heals up, you forget about it, you feel totally fine, no fever, no pain, nothing. But deep inside your body, a horrifying invasion is already underway.
And, this first stage, this is really what makes rabies so sinister. It's a completely silent invasion, happening way, way under the radar of your body's natural defenses. The way this virus works is, honestly, it's both brilliant and absolutely terrifying. See, after it gets in through a bite, it doesn't jump into your bloodstream like most viruses. No. Instead, it hijacks your actual nerve cells. And then it starts this slow, steady crawl up your nervous system, like a ghost in the machine, inch by inch, making a beeline straight for your brain. And that right there is the secret to its deadliness. See, most viruses, they travel in the blood. That's like the main highway where your immune system is the police, looking for trouble. But rabies, it takes the back roads. By hiding inside the nerves, it stays completely invisible. Your body has zero clue it's even being attacked. So this silent travel time, that's what's known as the incubation period. It can last for weeks, sometimes even months. And this is the most important window of time, because during this period, a series of vaccine shots is almost 100% effective. But the moment that window closes, your chances of survival plummet to basically zero. So you're probably wondering, why doesn't everyone just get the shot then? Well, a lot of the time, it's because people don't even know they've been exposed. A bat's teeth, for example, are like tiny little needles. You could get bitten in your sleep, wake up, see a bat in your room, and just shoo it out, thinking nothing of it. By the time you actually start to feel sick, it's too late. The virus has already reached its destination. And this is what happens when that journey is complete. The silent part is over. Now the all-out assault on the brain begins. At first, it might just feel like you've got the flu. But then the really bizarre, truly horrifying symptoms start to kick in. Things like hydrophobia, a fear of water, where just trying to take a sip of water causes these violent, painful spasms in your throat. Then there's aerophobia, where even a light breeze on your skin can trigger convulsions. And on top of all that, your mind just starts to come apart. Confusion, agitation, aggression, it's a total breakdown. So what's actually going on here? Well, the virus isn't just destroying brain tissue. It's much more sinister. It's hijacking your neurons, making them misfire like crazy. It's essentially turning the control center of your own body into an instrument of torture against you. And the worst part of all? For a lot of this, you're conscious. You are fully aware that your own mind is turning on you. And the scale of this problem is just staggering. Every single year, 59,000 people around the world die from rabies. To put that in perspective, that's one person every 9 minutes. Okay, so out of the millions upon millions of cases throughout all of history, how many people have ever survived once the symptoms show up? The answer? Fewer than 20. I mean, statistically, it is one of the deadliest infections we've ever encountered. Which brings us to this one final brutal number. The moment you show a single symptom, the fatality rate is, for all intents and purposes, 100%. So, how did Gianna Gies do it? How did she become one of those impossibly rare survivors? Let's circle back to her story and the truly radical idea that ended up saving her.
It all came down to this revolutionary idea from her doctor, a man named Rodney Willoughby. He had this theory. What if the virus itself isn't what kills you? What if it's the brain's reaction to the virus? All those seizures, the spasms, what if that's just the brain freaking out, basically short-circuiting itself to death, with the virus just being the trigger?
And that wild idea led to a desperate last-ditch effort called the Milwaukee Protocol. The concept was, well, it was simple, but it sounds insane. They decided to put her into a medically induced coma. The goal was to basically shut her brain down, to protect it from destroying itself. The hope was that this would buy her immune system just enough time to finally figure out what was going on, build up antibodies, and fight the virus off.
And for Jana, it worked. But let's be really clear here. This is not a silver bullet. The Milwaukee Protocol has been tried since then, and the success rate is only around 14%. So it's this tiny sliver of hope in what is otherwise a certainty of death. But it is absolutely not a cure. And this really brings us to what might be the most frustrating part of this whole story. Gianna's survival is a true miracle of modern medicine, but those 59,000 deaths every year, that's a global tragedy. And it's a tragedy of modern inequality.
Because here's the ultimate tragic irony. We know exactly how to stop this disease. We have a vaccine that is pretty much 100% effective if you give it during that incubation period. So these deaths, they're not a failure of science. They're a failure of access.
And the numbers really tell the whole story. A staggering 95% of all rabies deaths happen in Africa and Asia. They're usually in rural communities, miles away from the nearest clinic, where the vaccine is either impossible to get or way too expensive. It is, plain and simple, a disease of poverty.
Just let that sink in for a moment. Every single one of those 59,000 horrible deaths each year is completely, totally preventable. We have the tools. We have the knowledge. The failure is just getting that prevention to the people who desperately need it.
So we'll leave you with this final, kind of unsettling thought. When you have an incubation period that can last for months, even up to a year, and an exposure that could be something as small as a tiny scratch from a bat in the dark that you never even noticed, how can any of us be 100% certain we're safe?